You are about to discover 7 prophecies that will change the way you see the world. Pay close attention, because each one has the power to open your eyes to things you never imagined. And there's more. At the end, there's a challenge that 97% of people cannot accomplish. Will you be different? These prophecies will touch on points that you may be feeling but cannot explain. The feeling that something is wrong, that the world is changing too fast. But don't worry, because alongside each prophecy, you will receive ideas on how to prepare for what is coming. Stay until the end. What you will discover may change your life forever. Prophecy 1. The rise of the world leader. In the coming years, you will see a person suddenly appear on the world stage. This figure will attract everyone's attention with new ideas and promises of peace for the entire planet. Many people will be impressed by the way he unites different countries and resolves problems that seemed unsolvable. This leader will create a strong alliance among various countries in Europe, gaining influence very quickly. He will demonstrate surprising skills in making deals that no one thought possible before. His popularity will grow in an incredible way, with people from different cultures and religions seeing him as a kind of savior. This person will seem to have all the answers to the world's problems. You will hear many people talking about how amazing he is, and how we finally have someone capable of bringing peace and prosperity to all. But do not be fooled by appearances. Behind this facade of kindness and wisdom, a dark plan is forming. This leader is not who he claims to be. In fact, he is using all this goodwill and admiration to gain more power and control over people. Gradually, you will notice that his actions do not always match the beautiful words. He will start making decisions that only benefit certain groups while harming others. Yet many will remain blind, believing that he knows what is best for everyone. It is important that you stay alert and think carefully about what is happening around you. Do not believe everything you hear or read about this leader. Seek information from reliable sources and talk to people who think differently from you. Remember, not everything is what it seems. Sometimes, the most dangerous people are those who present themselves as the most kind and altruistic. Keep your eyes and mind open to see beyond appearances. This prophecy is just the beginning of a series of events that will change the world as we know it. Stay tuned, because things are going to get even more intense from here on out. Are you prepared for what lies ahead? As this leader gains more power, you will notice changes in the global economy. Suddenly, it will seem that everything is improving. People will have more money, jobs will increase, and many economic problems will disappear like magic. But do not be deceived. This prosperity comes at a high price. The new economic system will require people to give up many freedoms. Gradually, you will realize that you are being watched all the time. Your shopping, your conversations, even your thoughts will be closely monitored, all in the name of security and the common good. This new world order will promise peace and harmony among peoples. Wars will decrease, old conflicts will be resolved, and it will seem that we have finally achieved an ideal world. But beneath this shiny surface, something sinister is forming. People who oppose this new system will begin to disappear. At first, no one will notice much, but over time, it will become clear that those who don't follow the rules simply disappear. Families will be separated, friends will become enemies, and distrust will grow everywhere. Meanwhile, the world leader will gain more and more admirers. He will perform things that seem like miracles, solving problems that have existed for centuries. Many people will believe he is some kind of messiah sent to save humanity. But you who are listening to this prophecy need to stay alert. Look beyond appearances. Question everything you see and hear. Don't be swayed by the wave of adoration for this leader, because behind all this glory, a terrible plan is forming. The world as you know it is about to change forever, and you need to be prepared for what's coming. Keep these words in your heart and stay vigilant. Difficult times are coming, and only those who are attentive will be able to see the truth behind the lies. This prophecy is a warning, a call for you to wake up and see what is happening around you. The future may seem frightening, but remember, knowledge is power. And now you have the knowledge to prepare for what is to come. You just heard about the rise of a world leader who will change everything. It sounds frightening, doesn't it? But hold on, there's more coming. You know, many people aren't realizing what's happening in the world. It's as if they are asleep with their eyes open. That's why I did something special for you. I created a digital book that explains all of this we're discussing here, but in much more detail. And the best part, you can download it right now. The link is in the first pinned comment. But hurry, because there are only a few copies available. Soon I will have to take it down. Grab your digital book now and prepare for what is ahead. Because the next prophecy, this one will leave you speechless. Prophecy 2, the Great Economic Transformation. You will see a huge change in the economy worldwide. Suddenly, it will seem like all money problems disappeared like magic. People will have more cash in their pockets, jobs will appear everywhere, and those debts that seemed impossible to pay will become easier to manage. At first, everyone will be extremely happy. After all, who doesn't like having more money, right? The shops will be crowded, people will travel more, and it will feel like we finally reached that future of prosperity everyone has always dreamed of. But pay close attention, because not everything is as it seems. This wealth comes at a price, and it is quite high. Little by little, you will notice that to access all this money, people will have to give up a lot. The freedom we once had will start to diminish, bit by bit. First, they will say it's for our own good, for our safety. Then, they will claim it's to ensure everyone has the same opportunities. But deep down, what is happening is that they are creating a system where they can control everything we do. You will see that to buy anything, you will need to use a new type of money. Paper money or coins will no longer exist. Everything will be digital, and every penny you spend will be recorded in a central system. And it doesn't stop there. To access this new economic system, people will need to accept a special mark. It could be a chip, a digital tattoo, or something we can't even imagine yet. But one thing is certain. Without this mark, you won't be able to buy or sell anything. At first, many people will think this is great. After all, no one will need to carry a wallet anymore, right? Everything will be right there, in your hand or on your arm. But the problem is that along with all this convenience comes an absurd control over your life. Just imagine every place you go, everything you buy, every person you talk to, everything will be recorded in this system. And if you do something the government doesn't like, well, then they just turn off your access and that's it. You won't be able to do anything. And you know what's worse? Those who don't accept this mark will be left out of everything. They won't be able to work, they won't be able to buy food, they won't even be able to have a bank account. It will be as if the person no longer existed for society. Many will accept this mark without a second thought. After all, life will seem so much easier with it, right? But others will resist, and that's when things will get really ugly. You will see families separating because of this, friends of years turning into enemies, people being denounced by their own relatives, all because some will accept the mark and others won't. And don't think this will only happen in distant places. No, this will happen here, in your city, in your neighborhood, maybe even in your own home. This new economy will promise to solve all the world's problems. It will say that now everyone will have the same chances. But in reality, what it will do is create a control system so strong that it will be almost impossible to escape from it. So, stay alert. When you start to see these changes happening, when money starts to seem easier in a way that feels too good to be true, remember this prophecy, because the price of all this convenience will be your freedom. And you, are you prepared for what's coming? Do you think you will be able to resist when everyone around you is accepting this new reality? Think carefully, because the choices you make now will determine your future in this new world that is coming. This prophecy is a warning, a call for you to keep your eyes wide open and not to be deceived by promises of easy wealth. Because at the end of the day, freedom is worth much more than all the money in the world. Prophecy 3, the rise of the false prophet. You will see a person appearing out of nowhere, claiming to have all the answers to the world's problems. This guy will seem like a saint, saying beautiful things and doing things that will leave everyone in awe. Many will think he is a messenger from God, a true miracle worker of modern times. This false prophet will have a way of speaking that will make people believe everything he says. He will mix ideas from various religions, making everyone think we have finally found a faith that unites the entire world. It will be crazy to see how people will fall in love with this guy. But pay close attention, because behind this facade of goodness, there are ugly things happening. This false prophet is not alone. He is working with that world leader who appeared earlier. You know, the two are partners in this plan to deceive the whole world. The false prophet will do things that seem like miracles. You will see him healing sick people, making it rain in the desert, and even talking to people who have already died. All of this will be broadcasted on TV and the internet, so that the whole world will be impressed. But you know what's worse? He will use all this fame and admiration to convince people to worship the world leader. He will say that this leader is a kind of God on earth, and that everyone needs to follow him without questioning. And it doesn't stop there. The false prophet will be the one responsible for creating a new world economic system. He will say that it's to end poverty and bring prosperity to everyone. But the truth is that this system will be used to control every person on the planet. You will see him announcing that everyone needs to accept a special mark to be able to buy or sell anything. It could be a chip, a digital tattoo, or something we can't even imagine yet. The important thing is that without this mark, you won't even be able to buy food. At first, many people will think this is great. After all, who doesn't want a world without physical money, where everything is easy and practical? But the problem is that along with all this convenience comes an absurd control over your life. Just imagine, every place you go, everything you buy, every person you talk to, everything will be recorded in this system. And what if you do something the government doesn't like? Well, then they just turn off your access, and that's it. You will be left unable to do anything. And do you know what's worse? Those who do not accept this mark will be left out of everything. They won't be able to work. They won't be able to buy food. They won't even be able to have a bank account. It will be as if the person no longer existed for society. The false prophet will use religion, science, and technology to convince everyone that this is the only way to a better world. He will say that those who do not accept this new system are enemies of progress, people who do not want to see the world evolve. You will see families separating because of this, lifelong friends turning into enemies, people being reported by their own relatives, all because some will accept the mark and others will not. And don't think this will only happen in distant places. No. This will be here, in your city, in your neighborhood, maybe even in your own home. This new world order will promise to solve all problems. It will say that now everyone will have the same chances. But in reality, what it will do is create a control system so strong that it will be almost impossible to escape from it. So, stay alert. When you start to see this guy performing miracles on TV, when everyone is talking about him as if he is a saint, remember this prophecy, because behind this facade of goodness, a terrible plan is forming. And you? Are you prepared to resist when everyone around you is following this false prophet? Think carefully, because the choices you make now will determine your future in this new world that is coming. This prophecy is a warning, a signal for you to keep your eyes wide open and not be deceived by promises of miracles and easy solutions, because in the end, the truth is worth much more than any illusion, no matter how beautiful it may seem. Wow, you just heard 3 prophecies that could change everything. Is your head spinning? Calm down, because there's more. Before we get into the 4th prophecy, let me ask you something. Had you heard about these first 3? Did you know they existed? I was speechless when I found out. It's like a movie playing in front of me, you know? If you already knew about them, tell me in the comments. And if you didn't know, say that too. I want to know what you think about all this. Now get ready, because the 4th prophecy, this one will leave you speechless. Seriously. Are you ready? Then let's go. The 4th prophecy talks about Prophecy 4, the Great Tribulation. You will see a time of suffering like never before. It will seem like the whole world went crazy all at once. Everything you know and love will be turned upside down. This period will be so difficult that many people will wish they were not alive to see it. First, you will notice that the weather has gone crazy. Giant storms, earthquakes, tsunamis. Everything is going to happen with a frightening frequency. Places that were safe will turn into danger zones, and those places that were already dangerous, well, they will become practically uninhabitable. Along with that, new diseases will appear out of nowhere. Things that doctors have never seen before. And the worst part, the old diseases, those we thought we had under control, will come back with a vengeance. Hospitals will be overcrowded, and many people will not be able to get treatment. Food will become scarce. You will see huge lines at market doors and empty shelves. Whatever is for sale will cost a fortune. Many people will go hungry, even in countries that were once wealthy. And it doesn't stop there. Wars will break out everywhere. It won't just be fighting between countries. You will see neighbors fighting against neighbors, families dividing. Violence on the streets will spiral out of control. But you know what is worse? Amid all this chaos, that world leader who appeared earlier will show his true face. He will say that only he can solve all these problems, and many people will believe him. He will create a total control system. Every person will have to accept a special mark to be able to buy food, work, or do anything. Those who do not accept this mark will be treated as enemies, and that's when things get really ugly. People who refuse to worship this leader and accept his mark will be persecuted. It won't just be about not being able to buy things. It will be a real hunt. You will see people being imprisoned just for believing in God. Entire families will have to hide. It will seem like there is no longer a safe place in the whole world. But not everything is lost. Amid all this darkness, there will be brave people who will rise up against this evil system. They will risk everything to help others and keep hope alive. You will hear stories of people doing incredible things to save others. Ordinary people becoming heroes overnight. And that's when you will have to decide which side you will take. Because amid all this chaos, there will be a choice to make. You can accept the mark of this world leader and have a normal life, with food on the table and a roof over your head. Or you can resist, knowing that you will suffer, but keeping your soul intact. It won't be an easy decision. You will see friends and family yielding to the pressure. There will be moments when you will think that maybe it is better to give up, but remember, this tribulation will not last forever. At the darkest moment when it seems there is no way out, that's when the turnaround will happen. But until then, you will need all the strength and courage you can muster. This prophecy is not meant to scare you. It is a warning, a call to prepare. Because when these hard times come, you will need to be strong not just in body, but especially in spirit. And you know what is most amazing? Even amid all this tribulation, you will see miracles happening, people being healed from incurable diseases, food appearing out of nowhere to feed the hungry, people escaping from impossible situations. It will be a time of extremes, the worst of human evil, but also the best of kindness and love. And you? Which side will you be on? Think carefully about that. Because when the Great Tribulation comes, there won't be time to straddle the fence. You will have to choose a side. And this choice will define not only your destiny, but the destiny of everyone around you. Are you prepared to face these hard times? Or do you think all of this is an exaggeration and will never happen? The decision is yours. But remember, it's better to be prepared and not need it than to need it and not be prepared. Prophecy 5, the return of the Messiah. You will see something that will leave everyone speechless. In the midst of all that confusion I mentioned before, when it seems like there is no way out, something incredible will happen. The sky will open up and you will see someone coming in the clouds. This is not a joke. It is the Messiah returning, just as he promised a long time ago. But don't think it will be a cute scene. He is not coming as that baby in the manger anymore. This time he comes as a warrior, ready to bring order to the chaos. You will see a huge army descending from the sky. Millions and millions of angels, all dressed in white, riding horses. And in front of everyone he comes, the King of Kings. His eyes will shine like fire, and on his head there will be many crowns. The noise will be deafening. Imagine the sound of millions of horses galloping in the clouds. The whole earth will shake. People will be terrified, not knowing what to do. That world leader whom everyone thought was the guy will be in panic. He will try to gather all the armies of the world to fight against the Messiah. Can you believe that? The guy really thinks he can win this fight. But you know what's crazier? There won't be any fight at all. The Messiah will open his mouth, and with just his words, all the armies will fall dead on the ground. Yes, you heard it right. With just the words, No weapons will be needed, no bombs, none of that. And then, what about that world leader and the false prophet who deceived so many? They will be the first to be thrown into a horrible place, a lake of fire. They will stay there forever, paying for the evil they did. But it doesn't stop there. The Messiah will send an angel to bind the devil. Yes, that same one who has been roaming around doing a lot of evil. The angel will chain him and throw him into a deep pit, where he will be kept for 1,000 years. Then begins the best part. The Messiah will sit on a throne and begin to govern the world. But it won't be like the governments we know. It will be a government of justice, of true peace. The people who remained faithful to him during all that difficult time will have a special place in this new government. They will help the Messiah take care of everything. You will see incredible things happening. People who died a long time ago will come back to life. People will no longer get sick. There will be no more hunger or poverty. The animals that were once fierce will become gentle. Can you imagine a lion eating grass next to a child? All of nature will change. The deserts will turn into gardens. There will be food in abundance. People will live for a very, very long time. No one will die young. And the best part, there will be no more war. Weapons will be turned into tools for planting and harvesting. No one will need to be afraid of anything anymore. But you know what's most incredible? The Messiah himself will be there walking among the people. Can you imagine that? Being able to talk face to face with him, ask questions, hear his stories. This time will last 1,000 years. 1,000 years of peace, joy, with everything functioning the way it was meant to be from the beginning. It's hard to even imagine a world like that, isn't it? But look, there's one important thing for you to know. Not everyone will be there to see this happen. Only those who stood on the right side, who were not deceived by that world leader, will be able to enjoy this wonderful time. So, think carefully about what you are doing right now. The choices you make today may determine whether you will be there to see all this or not. Don't put it off, no. The time to decide is now. So, what do you think? Are you ready to be part of this story? Or do you think all this is just too crazy to be true? Think carefully, because time is passing, and this change could happen sooner than you imagine. This prophecy is a warning, but it is also a promise. An incredible future is coming. Do you want to be part of it? Wow! 5 prophecies and your head must already be spinning, right? But hold on, there's more. Before we dive into the 6th prophecy, I want to remind you of something super important. Remember the digital book I mentioned at the beginning? Well, it's now or never. The link is in the first pinned comment. Click there and download it right now. Seriously, it's very important that you get your book before it runs out. Do you know why? Because it holds all the details of these prophecies and much more. It's like a complete guide for you to understand everything that's happening in the world. And look, the units are running out fast, so hurry up. Now get ready. The 6th prophecy. This one will change everything you know about the future. Prophecy 6. The final judgment. You will see something that will leave everyone in awe. After that time of peace I mentioned earlier, something unexpected will happen. The sky will open again. But this time it's not to bring peace. Just imagine, a huge throne, as white as snow, appears in the sky, and sitting on it is someone so bright that you can hardly look. It's the judge of all the earth, ready to make the final judgment. Suddenly, you will see people from all places and all times appearing. People who lived thousands of years ago, people who died yesterday, everyone together. And do you know what's crazier? Even the sea will give back the dead that were there. Yes, you heard that right. No one will escape this judgment. Then, you will see something incredible happening. Some enormous books will be opened. And in those books, everything each person did during their life is recorded. Every word, every thought, every action. It's all there. But there's one book that is more important than all the others. It's the book of life. And this is where the judge will look for the name of each person. Now pay attention, because this is the most serious part. If a person's name is not written in this book of life, they will have a terrible fate. They will be thrown into a horrible place, which the Bible calls the lake of fire, and they will stay there forever. You must be thinking, wow, but that's really heavy. And it is, but do you know what's crazier? No one needed to go through this. The judge, who is Jesus, had already done everything so that people wouldn't end up at this point. Remember I mentioned the Messiah returning as a warrior? Well, before that, he came as a savior. He offered people the chance to escape this judgment, but many people chose to ignore it and preferred to follow another path. And then, on that day of judgment, those people will have to explain why they rejected the offer of salvation, why they chose to follow that crazy world leader instead of following Jesus, why they accepted that mark on their hand or forehead in exchange for an easy life. But don't think it will only be wicked people being judged. No. There will be plenty of people who thought they were good, who did charity, who went to church, but they trusted in their own good deeds instead of trusting in Jesus. And that won't be enough. The judge will look at each one and say, "I never truly knew you." Just imagine the sadness of hearing this after thinking you were doing everything right. And do you know what's worse? There will be no going back. There won't be a second chance. The time to decide is now. While we are still alive, this judgment will be the end of the line for many. But for others, it will just be the beginning of something wonderful. Those whose names are written in the book of life will enter an amazing place where there is no more suffering, nor pain, nor death. So, what do you think? Are you ready for that day? Is your name written in that book of life? Or are you risking it, thinking that your good deeds will be sufficient? Think carefully about that, because when that day comes, there will be no way to change your mind. The time to decide is now. Do you want to spend eternity in a wonderful place or in a terrible one? This prophecy is a warning, but it is also an invitation. An invitation for you to make the right choice now. While there is still time, don't leave it for later because you don't know when it will be too late. So, what are you going to do with this information? Will you ignore it and go on with your life as if nothing happened? Or will you stop to think seriously about it? Remember, the future is coming, whether you like it or not, and the choices you make today will determine where you will spend eternity. So choose wisely. Prophecy 7. The new heaven and the new earth. You will see something that you can hardly imagine. After all that time of peace I mentioned before, after the final judgment, something incredible will happen. The whole world, everything you know, will change completely. Just imagine, the sky and the earth we know will disappear. Poof! As if they never existed. And in their place, a new heaven and a new earth will appear. Everything clean, perfect, with no stain of the evil that existed before. And you know what's crazier? In the middle of all this, a huge city will descend from heaven, but it's not just any city, no. It's the New Jerusalem. It is so beautiful that it shines like a precious jewel. The streets are made of pure gold, so clean that they look like glass, and the gates, they are made of giant pearls. Now, pay attention, because this is the most incredible part. In this new city, God Himself will live with the people. Can you believe it? The Creator of the universe will be there, walking among the people, talking, laughing together. And you know what else? There will be no more sadness, no pain, no death. Nothing bad will exist in this place. That urge to cry? Gone? That heartache when someone you love leaves? Never again. God Himself will wipe away every tear from the eyes of the people. Time as we know it will no longer exist. There will be no day and night, because the light of God will illuminate everything all the time, and people will live forever, without aging, without getting sick, without anything bad. And look how cool. People will be able to eat from the fruit of the tree of life. Remember that tree from the beginning of the Bible in the Garden of Eden? Well, it will be there, bearing fruit all year round, and its leaves will be used to heal the nations. But pay attention, not everyone will be there. Only those whose names are written in the Lamb's Book of Life will be able to enter this wonderful city. Those who chose to stay on the side of evil, who preferred to follow other paths, will be left out. So what do you think? Can you imagine a place like that? It seems too good to be true, right? But that's what the Bible promises to those who choose to stay on God's side. Now comes the challenge. I want you to really think about everything I just said, from the first prophecy until now. Think about how the world is today, about the things you see happening out there. And then, I want you to respond in the comments. Do you think we are close to seeing these things happen? But wait, that's not all. There's more. I want you to think about your life, about what you are doing today, about your choices. And then, I want you to answer as well. If all of this started to happen tomorrow, would you be ready? Look, I know it's hard to think about these things. We are always rushing, always worried about work, bills, and daily problems. But sometimes we need to stop and think about what really matters. This challenge is not just for you to answer in the comments. No, it's for you to truly think about your life, about what you are doing with it, what really matters to you, because in the end, we never know when things will change. We never know when it will be too late to make the right choices. So think carefully. Look at your life, look at the world around you, and ask yourself, are you ready for what's coming? Are you living in a way that, if everything changed tomorrow, you wouldn't regret your choices? That's the challenge. Think about it. Really reflect and leave your answer in the comments. I'm curious to know what you think about all this. Wow, you made it this far. Incredible, right? These 7 prophecies are breathtaking. Now, I have a special request for you. On the screen, you will see 2 videos. Take a look at them, okay? I'm sure you'll like it. And you know what else? If you enjoyed this content, do the following. Click that little subscribe button. It's quick and it doesn't hurt at all, I promise. Oh, and if you really thought it was cool, how about giving that like? It would help me a lot. Want to do more? Share this video with everyone. There are many people out there who need to hear these prophecies. Thank you so much for staying until the end. You're amazing. See you in the next video.